All right. Now let's see if we can get that. How about now? All right. Did we get it now? Are we on now? Is this fucking thing working now? All right. You got to love technology, guys. It's wonderful when it works. So let's try this shit all over again. Welcome in. I hope you guys are good at reading lips. Did you guys get everything that I just said for the last 20 minutes? Were you guys on top of that shit? No? All right, good. Let's try it again here then. Apologies to those of you that are just joining us and figuring out where the hell is the sound, and you would think I would listen to the messages here a little bit prior, or at least I'd monitor them. But yes, the sound isn't working, but now it is back working, and you guys have been desperately trying to tell me this. And, of course, I wasn't paying attention. So how do you like that? Got to love technology when it works. So let me jump back on here and make sure that the sound is working. And, yes, there it is. Perfect. Sound back working. You guys rock. All right, let's try this one more time, shall we? Welcome in, guys, and a very, if you can figure out, hop on a special bracket challenge if you want. I can, yes, so do that, Scott. As a matter of fact, I was miming the whole thing about Halftime Magic and why you guys are coming on. So let's see if we can get Scott. Let's see if we can get him on. Come on down. Let's see if we can get Scott here from the Halftime Magic. And let's see if we can get him to join us now that people can actually hear us. And again, I apologize for that, but... And I got to tell you, you guys missed a hell of a rant that I was going on there, man. Holy Christ, was it good. Unfortunately, most of you probably didn't hear it. So let's see if we can get Scott on here. I'll have to give you the condensed version here in 2 seconds. 22, 55. There we go. Let's see if we can get that on there. Yeah, hold on 1 sec here. There we go. All right, let's see if we can do that again. All right, so welcome in once again, those of you that are just joining us. We have figured out the sound problems, and we figured out how to do it. Ultimately, what we were talking about is we were sending a big shout out to a few of the guys very successful over the weekend that appeared last week. I wanted to send a shout out to our friend Charles Michel from the Offshore Gaming Association, who came on Saturday, delivered you guys a couple of games, a couple of matches over the weekend in Europe on Sunday, and man, oh man, did he deliver. It pretty much, he swept the board. Everything that he brought to the table ended up cashing, including a couple of long shots over the weekend. So shout out to Charles Michel, a guy that specializes in soccer, somebody that you'll be seeing a lot more of here on the show. And when you deliver those kinds of wins, and when you can cash those kinds of tickets in soccer, hats off. There is nobody more dedicated and entrenched into the world of soccer than Charles. You guys will see him, and you will see him more in a couple of weeks, diving into some MLS. And once the Champions League and English Premier League and these things start kicking back up again, probably in about 2 weeks, you'll be hearing a lot from Charles Michel, though. But I wanted to give a shout-out to him. Hats off, man, Charles, for delivering a whole lot of winners to the viewers and to the followers here on the Joe Raineri Show. Also, a big shout-out to our friend Jay, the Sports Keg CEO, also delivering over the weekend. His Kegcast was extremely profitable for those of you that joined him. If you guys haven't followed him, it is The Sports Keg. Just search it on YouTube. It is a daily and nightly think tank, a live interactive think tank on YouTube where guys, like-minded sports handicappers like yourself, join the chat and they live bet. And it's great for those of you that may not be familiar with how to do live in-game wagering. Those of you that may not be, you always wanted to do it, but you didn't know what to do. Great opportunity for you guys to go in there, bounce off ideas to these guys in there. They are some of the best handicappers you will meet, guys just like you, bouncing off ideas, and they are live betting all the games on the card that night, whether it be the NBA, college hoops. I think they went 8-3 or 8-4 during UFC. Again, they're up 52 units so far over the last month during these live interactive fight casts and keg casts. So my suggestion, head over to YouTube, search out The Sports Keg, and just subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified when these guys do it. They do it pretty much 4 or 5 days a week. And right around 7 o'clock, you've got these guys that all collectively get it. It's growing and it's growing, and it's all a bunch of, it's guys like you and me, guys that are looking to be more profitable in 2019, guys that want to be smarter. They want to make smarter sports investing decisions. And it starts by finding a place that you can go, that you feel comfortable in. Everybody is welcome, and they do an amazing job of bouncing ideas off of each other and doing just that, becoming a little bit more profitable. So if you've always wanted the opportunity to learn how to do some live in-game wagering, I would highly suggest you get over to the Sports Keg and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Great job by Jay and all the handicappers in there. And they have a whole bunch of guest guys that they bring on, guys that specialize in different sports, in different areas. And it's nothing but a wealth of information. It is absolutely a think tank and a group you guys are definitely going to want to be a part of. So I would suggest you head over there, The Sports Keg on YouTube. Follow, subscribe. You guys are going to love that. Also, trendybets.com. We got a free NBA play of the day we haven't gotten to, but we're going to get that. Also, we are going to, I wanted to tell you guys, and a shout out to halftimemagic.com, who specializes strictly in second-half plays. And if you guys haven't seen already what they have done this year, you guys know there are a lot of the sharps that we bring here on the show. They talk about full game, right? They talk about getting an edge full game. What is the full game line? Some of them will dabble a little bit in maybe some first-half lines. The guys at Halftime Magic, Scott and the boys over at Halftime Magic, they concentrate on one thing and one thing only. They won't look at full game lines. They are only looking at second half betting. And it's a very unique way to approach sports investing. A lot of you probably didn't even realize that you can bet the second half. You probably think that you can log on right now and just bet a second half. The problem with second half wagering is you've got a 8 to 10 minute window when the alert comes over, okay, because the lines are only posted for the second half of games at the second half, just between the first and second half. So whether it be halftime on an NBA game or the second half in a college game, you only got about 8 to 10 minutes. The alert comes over, and you've got to be prepared and ready to be able to make the bet. But there is nobody better and more successful than the guys at Halftime Magic in this line of sports investing. It is a gold mine, because the one thing these guys look for, and the one things that they have been able to identify, is what every sports handicapper in the world looks to identify with. And that, my friends, is an edge. And I don't think anybody does a better job of gaining that edge than what the guys have figured out at halftimemagic.com. They are monitoring and they are analyzing every game in real time. And what maybe some of you don't know is what happens to the bookmakers. The handle is not the same for second half bets as it is for full game. So the handle is not the same, at least not yet anyway. It may eventually, once the word gets out, it's probably going to get real sharp in the second half. But right now, there's a softness in the market that you guys should know about. There's a softness in the market from the standpoint of the second half lines don't necessarily reflect what you just saw in the first half. What they reflect is what was the full game line, how many points were scored. Okay, here's what it should be. Here's what the second game line is. It doesn't take into consideration that a team is hitting 70%, from three. It doesn't take into consideration that maybe one of the star players just twisted his ankle. He's out in the game. None of that comes into play. The only thing that matters from a book standpoint is what was the full game line, how many points did they score, here's the cookie cutter method. It's basically spots and dots. Okay, here's what the second half line is. Not really taking into consideration what's going on in the first half of the game or the data that it created. HalftimeMagic.com has figured out, like a few other companies, and this is getting more and more prevalent, you'll talk to sharps. There are a number of sharps, guys. We've talked to them here on this show. They will not place a second half They will not place a full game wager ever again. It's either second half or it is nothing. And the reason being is because we're always trying to minimize variance, right? Well, when you can play a half of a game, take that data, you've already eliminated half the variance that could screw you over, right? In a full game line. Second half wagering is all about identifying an edge and pouncing on it and taking advantage of it. And that's what halftimemagic.com does. So I would encourage you guys, head over to see Scott, trying to get him on the phone, see if we can get him on the phone. But I would head over to halftimemagic.com. You can lock yourself into a package right now for the entire tournament. Get every one of the plays coming up in the NIT, in the CIT, in March Madness. Get all of those plays right now, one ridiculously low price, and start profiting like the rest of us have figured out in second half wagering. Again, got to have a cell phone, got to have a text number, and you got to be able to place the wagers in that 8 to 10 minute window during second halves. If you guys can do that, get over to halftimemagic.com. Start profiting like the rest of us have been profiting all season long, not just in college hoops. Hell, even in the NFL, we had a killer year at 58% in the NFL this year as well, and college hoops. NBA, college basketball, now would be the time for you to take advantage of those edges that can be found with second half wagering. Do it with halftimemagic.com. All right, let's take a look at our friends at trendybets.com, who somehow have managed to come up with yet another winning week last week with NBA free plays on the show. They killed it. It was awesome. Want to thank them very much. So let's start the week off on a positive note once again. Let's take a look at our friends from trendybets.com and what they've got going on tonight in the NBA. They are looking at Nuggets and Celtics. Boston laying 3.5. Total is 222. Here's what we know. Nuggets, not really good on the road. 6-14 against the number in their last 20 road games. They're also 2-5 against the number in their last 7 games versus a team with a winning percentage above 600. The Celtics, they're 11-5 against the number in their last 16 versus the NBA Northwest. And, oh, yeah, the home team, 18-8-1 against the number in the last 27 meetings between these two teams. I don't think there's any doubt that Boston has found a groove here. I think you are talking about a team with the Denver Nuggets that have ridiculous home and away splits. There is no question Denver is a much better team at home than they are on the road. Celtics laying 3.5. That is your trendybets.com free NBA play of the day. That number has been at 3.5, I'm fairly certain, for most of the day. So you guys are definitely getting that. And we'll call him back to tell him we'll call Scott back to as well. That is your free NBA play there. It is definitely going to be Boston laying 3.5. And actually, let me just make sure, see what I got there. Yeah, the Nuggets are 30-6 at home. They're just 16-16 on the road, including a 13-19 ATS. So the Celtics 20-14 against the number as a home favorite, and Gordon Hayward is listed as doubtful he is in the concussion protocol, but of course the Celtics have absolutely enough firepower to be able to take care of business at the Garden. Celtics laying 3.5 could very well be the play. A couple of other plays there that you guys should know about, which a lot of people seem to be talking about. How about Portland? Indiana at Portland tonight. And this is a very interesting game. Portland is at home, but the number seems to be the under. That's where a lot of people seem to be looking tonight. The under, 213, Indiana at Portland. And the reason being is that it's all about defensive efficiency tonight. The Pacers trail only the Bucks in the NBA this season when it comes to defensive efficiency. They've also managed somehow or another to come over that loss of Victor Oladipo. Congratulations to the job of what they have done there in Indiana. They've also managed, by ratcheting up the defense, they've managed to become one of the more reliable under teams in the NBA this year. In fact, the under has gone 41-29 in their games, the Indiana Pacers. Keep that in mind, 41-29 in their games this year. The under has cashed. And The problem with Portland laying 4.5, depending on where the book is I don't know that they're going to be. They're a little banged up. C.J. McCollum, I don't think, is going to be playing tonight. But I do think that between the defense and maybe a little less firepower on Portland's side here tonight, I do think also that the under 213 Indiana and Portland is probably going to be the smarter play tonight. A lot of guys looking at Boston laying the 3.5, the under in the Indiana and Portland game, and also Golden State laying 2.5 tonight on the road against San Antonio. We know Boogie Cousins is out, but we do know that Kevin Durant is in. So Kevin Durant coming back tonight. He'll be suiting up for Golden State on the road in San Antonio. Boogie Cousins out. Not hurt, x-rays, everything seems to be okay with the ankle, just taking a couple of days off, but a lot of people don't seem to care. It looks like they're laying the 2.5, no problem there. They have been on fire, Golden State. Not great this year, of course, against the number, but certainly as of late, they are 11-3 against the number in their last 14 games between these two teams. So they know how to take care of business against San Antonio. And I think after that embarrassing loss to Phoenix, we are seeing a completely different Golden State Warriors team. Also, keep in mind the under in New York, Toronto tonight. They won't have Kawhi Leonard, Toronto. They've already announced that he's going to be out. Kyle Lowry looks like he is going to be out. Serge Ibaka, I think, has got one more game. So a lot of people feel that, Toronto, one of the best defensive teams in the league, we know this, but not going to have Kawhi, not going to have Kyle Lowry. And we know that the Knicks are one of the least efficient offenses in the NBA. So points are probably going to be at a premium tonight. You may want to look at the under New York, Toronto, 213.5 tonight. Seems to be also a popular bet. Looks about 42% of the bets coming in on the under, representing about 69% of the money. So the sharp money is definitely coming in on the under tonight, New York and Toronto, and I don't blame them. And one of the bets that I placed that I really like also happens to be Dallas laying 4.5 over New Orleans. And without Drew Holiday, the Pelicans are completely lost. They've been outscored by 245 points in 1,054 minutes when Holiday is not in the game. They also just lost to the Suns, despite making 16 of 32 from three there. Ridiculous that they even lost this game. They are not good. Dallas, not great either, just 2-10 since the All-Star break. But the Mavs at home, they are 4-1 against the number in their last 5 games. This number should have been closer to 7 or 8. And the fact that if you can get it at 4.5 or 5, Dallas is probably to play here. Lay it. They are just not a good team without Drew Holiday in the lineup. So the Pelicans, not going to have him tonight. Probably going to have a little harder time scoring. So I would definitely say Dallas at home is the play. Lay the 4.5, lay the 5 tonight. I'm also going to be playing Utah, too. I think Utah, they are battling right now for this is the first game of a 4-game road trip for them. They're trying to improve their playoff position. The Wizards are trying to stay in the hunt, but I'm all over Utah here. I think they've won 3 in a row. They took care of business at home against the Brooklyn Nets. Rudy Gobert, this team, Donovan Mitchell, this team has been playing great basketball. And going into Washington, listen, how many times are you going to count on Bradley Beal scoring 40 points for you to win? I don't necessarily think it's a great matchup. They haven't played yet this year. This is part of kind of a home and a home. They're actually in I think next week, going to go to Utah. But right now this game is in Washington. Utah had a night off. They are, it was a travel day. So it's not like this is the last leg of a 4-game road trip. It's the first game of a 4-game road trip. And I don't think Utah, I don't think it's going to be even close. I think Utah is going to run away with this rather easily. So take the Utah Jazz, laying the 5.5 here tonight. I don't think it's going to be a problem at all covering this game. And again, don't forget, make sure you guys are visiting our friends at trendybets.com. Boston laying the 3.5 against Nuggets. Go for it. Check them out, not only just on their NBA plays, but also the NCAA packages that they've got going on. Trendybets.com. That is trendybets.com. And at the very least, make sure you guys are tailing them on Twitter. All right, big day tomorrow, too. Going to do a lot of bracket stuff. Ralph Michaels, wagertalk.com. He'll join us tomorrow. We've got actually one game tonight. I completely forgot about this. I wanted to pass this information along to you tonight. You've got a game with New Jersey Tech versus Quinnipiac for you real degenerates out there, right? We've got New Jersey Tech taking on Quinnipiac. Here's the interesting thing about this. Some of you might be like, what the hell is it? This is this tournament called the CIT, right? So this is part of the, it's separate from the NIT. It's separate from, obviously, the March Madness there. It is its own tournament. And what happened was these two teams were told Friday that they would actually be playing in this game. Now, Quinnipiac is a team that chucks the ball up all over the place. I mean, it is a team that it throws up three-pointers, guys. The problem is going to be very hard for them to be in a shooting groove since they haven't played a game since March 9th. That was their last game. And they might have had one practice in between the time that they were notified that they're playing in this game and the actual game tonight. New Jersey Tech, on the other hand, they won 11 games in Brian Kennedy's first season this year, 14 last year, 21 this season. It was a great year for New Jersey Tech. I can tell you right now, they're going to be excited to be in this game. They're laying 4.5 points, and I would definitely lean New Jersey Tech. If you're a degenerate and you feel like you got to get some action in there in college hoops, New Jersey Tech certainly might be a look here tonight. Laying 4.5, should be somewhere in that number. I haven't checked it just yet, but keep in mind, Quinnipiac, they haven't played a game since March 9th, and they pretty much didn't know they were playing in this game until Friday. So keep that in mind. Not sure if a three-point shooting team is going to have enough of a rhythm to get into when they've been off for the last 2 weeks and had no idea they were going to be playing this game until just Friday. So keep that in mind. New Jersey Tech, I would lean tonight with the 4.5 points. All right, that does it for us. We'll be back again tomorrow. Don't forget Ralph Michaels, wagertalk.com. He'll join us. We'll cover your brackets. We'll give you some strategy. Also, the early lines. You got a couple of playing games tomorrow for the taking action for the NIT, a couple of NIT early games. We'll have all of that covered for you. Join us tomorrow, also 6 a.m., Make It Rain on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network, followed by the morning after with me and Gabe Morency, and then we'll be back here in the afternoon for the Joe Raineri Show, doing our best to make it a profitable week as the March Madness has begun. It's going to be one hell of a week, guys. Going to be an awful lot of fun. Don't forget, pace yourselves, all right? Make sure that you take all the knowledge in. Make sure that you are smart about how you're approaching this. Don't double up. Don't be doing anything crazy where you're going to, lose your bankroll in 2 days because you couldn't handle yourself. Be disciplined. Rule number 1, be disciplined, bankroll management, and you can make an awful lot of money here over the next couple of weeks, which is what we plan on helping you do. So I want to thank you guys very much. A real special announcement from HalftimeMagic.com is coming up a little bit later. Make sure that you are following the channel. Make sure you're following the page here, guys. Again, sorry about the audio malfunction that we had going on a little bit earlier. I think we managed to figure that out and work it out. But we'll be back here again tomorrow, and one job and one job only, guys, and that is to make it a little more profitable in 2019. So thanks again, guys. Enjoy the night. Good luck. New Jersey Tech. All right, don't forget, Dallas laying the 5.5. No problem with that. Also, make sure you're taking make sure you're not taking the take Utah taking over the Washington Wizards. Utah laying the 5.5. Dallas laying the 4.5 or 5 over the Pelicans. They should be able to take care of business as well. So good luck tonight, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Make sure you're visiting trendybets.com. Good luck, guys.